Hey y'all, in this lesson we are looking at trying to understand the Pythagorean theorem. You can say it with me, Pythagorean. 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 Our goal is to be able to use the Pythagorean theorem to find an unknown side of a triangle. Our essential question for you to write down is, how does the Pythagorean theorem relate the side lengths of a right triangle? We have some vocabulary we need to know first. Some words that are going to come up is the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is often denoted with the variable c, and it is the longest side of a right triangle. It is always across from the right angle. On a right triangle, a leg, we'll call these either A or B, are the two shorter sides of the right triangle. They come together to make the right angle. And the Pythagorean theorem specifically states, if you take the squares of the legs, so A squared and B squared, it will equal the square of the hypotenuse, so C squared. Let's take a look. In our first example, we're asked to use the Pythagorean theorem to find the length of the hypotenuse. So you can see here our right angle. Our hypotenuse is across from that right angle, and our legs are 8 and 15. The question is, what is the length of the hypotenuse? We will use the Pythagorean theorem. Again, the Pythagorean theorem is saying if I take the length of a leg and square it, and the length of the other leg and square it, and add them together, they will equal the length of the hypotenuse squared. So I can fill in the pieces I know. We'll use 8 for A and 15 for B. 8 squared plus 15 squared. We'll square those two numbers to get 64 and 225. Add together 64 plus 225 is 289. Now, you might not always be able to think of what number times itself gives me this, but you can find and calculate the square root using your calculator. If you're not sure how to do that, please come and ask. But we will find the square root of both sides to get that C, or the hypotenuse, is 17. So here the length of the hypotenuse is 17 centimeters as our final answer. In example 2, we are going to find the length of a leg. So Mara is repairing the trim on a side of a display case, which we've sketched here. She has a piece of trim that is 20 inches long. Does she have enough to repair the display case? So we have our hypotenuse is 29 inches. And one leg is 20 inches. We're wondering, depending on what this length is, if she has enough trim to repair the display case. The display case is shaped in the shape of a right triangle. We will use this to find the missing length. So again, it's A squared plus B squared equals C squared. We'll plug in 20 for A and 29 for C, substituting in the given information. 20 squared is 400, and 29 squared is 841. You can use a calculator to help you do this. Now we want to know what B squared is, or what B is, so we want to get rid of anything with it. So we'll do that by subtracting 400. When we subtract 400 on the left and subtract 400 on the right, we get that B squared must be 441. Finally, we'll take a square root of this, and again, this is where having your calculator is going to be helpful. And we will get B equals 21. So B is the length of the leg that we're missing, and so in context of our problem, Mara is going to need 21 pieces, a 21-inch piece of trim, so she does not have enough trim to repair the display case because she only has 20 inches, and here for B, she needs 21. So again, Regardless of the word problem part, when we have a right triangle, we can always find a missing side using our theorem and plugging in the pieces that we know. You give it a try. A right triangle has a hypotenuse length of 32 meters. It has one leg with a length of 18 meters. What is the length of the other leg? You can express your answer as a square root. So if it is not a whole number, you can leave it as a square root. Pause the video, try this on your own, and press play to see the answer. The length of the other leg is the square root of 700 meters. We find this because when we set up, we'll have 18 squared plus b squared equals 32 squared. That would be the correct setup, and then we would solve this just like example 2. That's it. That's the Pythagorean theorem. The Pythagorean theorem in an equation relates the side lengths of a right triangle, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where a, b are the legs of the right triangle and c is the hypotenuse. If you just draw this picture into your summary, that would be enough to summarize what we just did. Your next steps are to submit your 8.1 notes, complete your 8.1 practice, and then take your 8.1 mastery check. Good luck, and I'll see you in the next lesson.